John, tell us your story, where you're from, how you came to discover Kratom.
Well, in a nutshell, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and when I was 21, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and by that time I was what I call a full blown addict. Active addiction, 10 years. On a 10-year run, I call it. Um, not so much a low bottom, what we call low bottom criminal justice guy. I'm couch surfing, sleeping in bushes on the bridges from town to town. But anyways, I ended up in the Marine Corps. I took my addiction with me. 2.5 years into my 4-year enlistment, after 12 times of being arrested, 4 times in foreign countries, 5 Article 15s, my battalion commander finally said, "Look, you going to rehab or you going to the brig?" And I knew about the brig, so I said, "Well, hell, to rehab, I'll go there." And August 10th, 1982, I began my recovery journey from addiction and alcoholism. And I've been clean and sober ever since. So I got 43 years in recovery right now.
Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But I've always been very, very active. I never was one to fall for the stigma associated with addiction because I didn't care who saw me out there. If they had a gotcha magazine back then, I wouldn't have cared if I was in it or not. So I never bought into the anonymity piece, but I was very well known for the recovery guy in my town. Was a paint contractor for 30 years, had thousands of customers, did very, very well. Everybody knew if anybody had a problem with drugs or alcohol, send them to John. I'm a 12-stepper, constantly going to meetings and I had a spiritual awakening as a result of those steps. I found my true purpose was real, I'm a hope dealer. I give hope and I help people. 2004, me and my wife founded the McShin Foundation in Richmond, Virginia. This was at the height of the stigma, no services, no insurance coverage for treatment or rehab. Just lock them up. Something special about me is I always read the paper, so I'm very well read. I've stayed up with current events my entire life. I have over 50 years experience with our drug war in America. So I devour content, I devour information, I watch every documentary I can about everything.